Oh, so hello America, welcome back. Um, it's kind of really hard to be an American right now, and to find any kind of um, solace or um, to feel united. I really don't. I don't usually do a lot of videos on interracial dating, but this is going to be one of those. Just because now, having this um, new president being finalized. I mean, I know we've all known for, I'm going to try to pull this closer. We've all known for quite some time that this is what was going to happen. Hopefully we all, got all our ducks in a row or whatever we needed to do. If you've been or are in an interracial relationship, or if you have biracial children, you know that this brings a whole new chapter, and a whole different list of things that you have to deal with, because I know a lot of people, you guys who watch my channel and also who watch my sister's channel are completely and utterly against interracial relationships and interracial dating. My sister is completely just not for it whatsoever. I think I'm more a little bit liberal on that. I think that people can date whoever they want to. Honestly, I don't care. I do find that it is, I think that it is damaging to children to um, come out of those interracial relationships. I don't believe that having children in interracial relationships is beneficial to the child or anybody else. Certainly not the child. Right now, there's kind of two different worlds out there. To it's it's hard to say, like, right now, just because as Black people we've been through so much. We've been through the unspeakable on numerous occasions, and so I can't rightfully sit here and say, this sucks because we have this racist president and everything's gonna go, horrible. Because I can look back and say, you know what, they're not hanging my brothers from trees by their penises today, so today is okay. And it's, and it's really sad that that's kind of things that I grasp on as um, comfort, that we're not there. But we're not in a good place, obviously, because now, white supremacist terrorists are running amok, and they're running around, flexing. And honestly, I ask every Black person, please, if a white person comes and trying to flex or be disrespectful in any way, um, put it shut to it, like, right away. There is no kindness. Don't be, no, just put a stop to it, because I think this is one of those times that we're really gonna have to do that, to set that ground line, to say this is what's gonna happen. We're not gonna take your bull crap. But I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about the interracial um, dating and having children. Like with my son, everyone knows that, my son is um, biracial, and so for him, he has two different communities. It's like, you're he's not white, and he doesn't consider himself to be white, but he is sort of part of the white community. Um, and then is mostly part of the black community. I mean, I would love him to only be part of the black community, but I have to say, okay, well, you're part of the white community that is your father and grandparents, and that's it. I don't really consider the cousins because they're little white demons that don't need to be around my son. And that's another thing that comes up because you have to end up cutting family members out because of how their demented ways and the stuff that they think is okay, like the killing and the getting thrills out of killing and posting pictures of killing things. And that's white people. That's not black people. That's not something that we do. And so um having to tell your child that I don't like white people, I don't trust them, I think that there's so much evil that they've done, and then but not try to tell him so much that he um takes the negativity in on himself because he is part of that. um and it's not just like with my family. There's a lot of mixed children, and it brings a lot of different problems when things like this are going on. um and you try to like tread lightly around racial stuff, but it's so up in the air and it's so everywhere right now. And um, I, like, for myself, I feel so much animosity and anger, and it's not like I feel anger towards white people all the time, all the days. I'm usually not thinking about them, but if I think about something that has happened, and then you can go as far back as your mind can remember, and then hundreds of years, and then it's global terrorism, that it's hard to look at um, even like my son's dad and think, oh, okay, well, he's not that bad of a person, because it's like, no, he's cut from the same cloth, he has the same genetics. And um I think with interracial dating, when you date someone, when a black person dates a white person, and I can't speak on men, because men, I don't think black men care if they date a Nazi, as long as she's white. I, that's been my experience. The black men don't care how racist the white woman is. But I think with black women, if a black woman is dating a white guy, she assumes that he is not racist. And I think before I came to some clarity, I thought that maybe it was possible that these people were not racist and that they weren't white supremacists. But now, like, now I know that that can't be true. Like, it's not something that's even possible. So and you have to deal with the repercussions of those things. So now, 8 years later, things are unfolding, and you especially see, like, when stuff like this, where there's a a real racist um, public person that everyone's talking about. You really get to see the opinions and the views and the truth of those white people that are around you. You get to know that what they really think, because there's this facade that goes around that if you'll see like a white guy with, especially, probably not everywhere, maybe not in the South, but here you will see him with um, baggy pants and all this stuff, trying to um, to mimic some of the um, traits of black men. And so you would assume, oh, that, and you hear a lot, oh, that white boy wants to be black, which I never fell for, because that's not true. That white guy could never be black. They wouldn't survive 10 minutes of being a black man. They just would not be able to, they don't have the psyche or the mental capability to deal with what black men have to deal with on a daily basis. Um, so now when you see that, and I don't see that as much, because like with my son's dad, like, you age and he was never really in the baggy pants and stuff like that, but you see like, oh, they have like 30 pairs of Jordans, and they only date black women, but then, and so you think, okay, well, he can't possibly be a white supremacist, because he only dates black women, but then we more of your brain wakes up. I have to get some water. And then you realize, does that guy have any black friends? Not black women friends, but black male friends? Chances are no. So they like the idea of being able to be with a black woman and to have 30 pairs of Jordans. I don't know how that mixes it in, but you need to look at, if they have black friends. They usually don't, which is a true sign that they're a white supremacist. Even if they do have, 2 or 3, their friends will be coons. So that it doesn't really count. If their friends only date white women and don't like black women and talk crap about black women, then that doesn't, it's the same. They're still white supremacists, and there's all these signs. But okay, going back to um, the difficulties of dealing with it now, um, it's just so much confusion with children, and I have a niece that's 4, and her mother's white, and she's always around the white grandparents and the white side of the family, and it's just, for me, it's worrisome, because the child is like 400 times more likely of being molested by that side of the family. Like, literally, the chances of the child not being molested is like 0. It's pretty much gonna happen unless you're, I'll say 1%. And so now my niece, she's brown skinned, almost my color, and she's just around a bunch of white people, and she knows that she's brown. Like, she will come to me and be like, oh, look, auntie, you're brown like me. And for that child to then be thrown into a family of just white people that she barely, comes and sees us. She's barely around us. So she's not even going to know what it is like to be a black woman. Or she's just going to live in this um, strange kind of um, this bubble of confusion, because how is she getting her identity? She can't learn how to be a black woman by her mother. She can't learn how to be a black woman by her white grandmother and her white cousins and uncles, and so she's just gonna be confused. It's like there's no end result that is good in that situation. And so that is, it's not, it's definitely an example of 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 damage that is going to be done to a child's psyche because of interracial procreation. It's not done responsibly. And I've done it. All I can do is be as responsible as I can be, um, with what I have right now, and just make sure, for me it's more important for the child, to be around the black side of the family, because when that child walks outside, and it's going to be treated by society as a black child. So that's more important to me. I think it is more important for my niece to be around her black side of the family, us. She should be around us way more than them. Like, she should see them maybe 2, 3 times a year. It's just really not beneficial for her to be around them. It's not going to do anything good for her. Certainly not for her self-esteem of who she is. When you live in a white supremacist terrorist country, everything is based on being white, and then you're living around white people and all of them are white, and everything that they do is dedicated to white people and is for white people by white people, and then you have this one little black child just there. She's gonna be targeted to be molested. Like, you have these degenerate, inbred, savage, disgusting terrorists. Just, these are people that you would never want your child around, and now it's like, oh, here's your family. Now they're babysitting, and she's spending the night, and it's like, it's disgusting. Like, I would never do it, and I try really hard to make sure my kid spends more time with his black side of the family, and not spend the nights. And I mean, he does go to his grandmother's house and stuff, but they have other mixed children that are there, and it's not predominantly white. So, well, the town is, but um, I just, all you can do is try to do your best. But if you're not really on top of it and diligent about what you want your kid to be around, then they're stuck in between these two worlds. Um, and they will be, and there's nothing that we can do to change that. They are stuck between two worlds. It's hard enough to be um, just black. I feel like it's going to be harder to be both, because trying to navigate both worlds. One that I wish my son was not affiliated with at all, honestly. And then trying to have the talk with your kid, because if your mixed kid dates a white person and then has a kid with that white person, then your grandkid's going to be predominantly white. So, no. Um, Trying to, like, have conversations about that, but not being pushy. Um, but it's worrisome. It really is. There's honestly really nothing I could do about it at that point. But it would be tragic to me. Like, it would kill me. And I would have no one but myself to blame, honestly. Um, I want to say I would just, like, love the kid and accept it, but I know that's not where I'm at right now. I would have to do some soul searching and maybe some different kind of growth, but right now it would not make me happy. So we, as a black community and as black parents and of parents. I don't know if there's any parents that watch these videos that have interracial children or biracial children. Maybe you can tell me, how you deal with it. I know there's a lot of different channels on here that talk about swirling and but they're more like super pro swirling, and I'm more like, okay, how do we clean this up? I don't know. But again, I mean, people can date whoever they want to. I don't, honestly, I don't care. And I know that most of the people of you guys that watch these channels really just are so anti um swirling. I hate that name. And you guys came over from my sister's channel, which I totally appreciate you guys coming over. And but I mean, it's important to get a lot of different views, and a lot for me, even if it's something that I totally am against, I still want to be educated and just know what's going on in the black community. But I don't care if people decide they want to honestly, I don't care if people date anyone or anything that can be okay with dating it. So if a person wants to have a kid with let's just say white people. If white people want to marry and have kids with their cousins and sisters and stuff, I don't care. As long as they're of age, I have too much other stuff to stress out over to care about stuff like that. So I'm not like totally against interracial dating. I'm not for it. I'm totally against having kids. And don't because it's bringing a whole another person that didn't have any say to whether they wanted to be in this whole um, black white mess. Not to say that there's only black and white people that date each other. I've dated an Indian guy, and I guess that would be considered interracial dating too. But it just is what it is. We really, I'd really like to see, um, just black people supporting each other. Honestly, I just want to go to Africa and overthrow it and kick all the white people out and then just kick it there and just be home. So now I'm kind of just talking because I'm tired. And when I'm tired, I just talk. But you guys can just stop watching me talk if you want to. Um, so I have a lot of different thoughts about interracial relationships and dating because I have a lot of different experiences, and um, when I look back at them now, they weren't all bad. They weren't. I don't think the people that I dated were deviants or I don't know, maybe they are deviants, honestly. They probably were. They probably are. But people have these like when I think black people are like taught to, especially I was and my family, because we had a different childhood than many other people. Like I'm not gonna get into it right now, but we didn't really talk too much about race. It wasn't we didn't really talk too much about race in our small circle of just family. And then most of our friends were our sisters, and then we had obviously other friends, and it, for me it went from I had black friends and then I had white friends, and then I got out of, you know, college. I just hung out with people, and but it wasn't like I'm gonna hang out with you because you're black and I'm gonna hang out with you because you're white. It was just like whatever. And then when it came to like dating, there was no you only date black people like that. There wasn't a lot of black people to date. Um, but we really have to realize the media has a lot to do with what's popular, even with dating. Music, for one, music back in the 90s was really promoting when I talk about rap and hip hop and how that influenced dating. Those videos that were coming out were of dark skinned guys with only light skinned women, light skinned or like anything but black. So that was popular. I think there was Maya, who is maybe a quarter black, and there was Little Kim, but you know she was light then, but mostly the video vixens or whatever were very, very fair until that's what was being pushed out there, until that's what the black man wanted, because that's what they're being told to want. And I think people don't realize that they're being psychologically manipulated by TV. Um, and so they just that's just what they thought that that's what they were supposed to want. And for a long time it was like, oh well, you're dark skinned, or it's like, oh you're cute. This is not why I dated white guys. It's not, um, because I didn't, during this time I didn't date at all anyway. So but in general it was like, okay, um, if I were going to date in high school, these aren't the guys that were wanting to date black women. They were wanting to date um, Jennifer Lopez and Mariah Carey, and you know, the super light skinned girls. Those are what my generation of guys wanted to date. Um, and so even if it was like, let me find, I had guys tell me that, oh yeah, you're really pretty for a dark skinned girl, and it was just like, oh okay. um and white people be like, oh you're very beautiful, like just you're just beautiful. And it was like, okay, I'm beautiful for a dark skinned girl. And I know that has a lot to do with colorism, which is a huge problem, which I didn't even know existed. Me and my sisters did not even know colorism existed until, geez, middle school. Like, yeah, so middle school. And that was, I think that's the first time I saw or heard anything about um, light skin, dark skin. It was like me and a lot of my sisters. Some of my sisters went to school together, and we all kind of vary in shades. We have the same parents, but we all have like um, different shades. And you would have guys say, "Oh, well, she's pretty because she's light skinned. You're kind of dark, and then you're darker." And, you know, that's how. And we're like, "What are they talking about? Aren't we just black?" Like for us, it was like we're black, and then that's it. And then I was like, "No, you're this shade of black, and you're that shade of black, and you're that shade of black." And so that was in itself kind of a shock to the system. And then it was like, I know when two of my sister, um, Cynthia, and then the one younger than her, she's darker, a lot darker than Cynthia, and guys would be nice to Cynthia and not nice to my other sister because she was too dark. And so, um, partly I think, um, and I know all black men weren't like that, obviously, but when it come to, um, even my oldest sister, and for a long time she's like, well, she moved to Texas when she was like 16, so she, dated only black guys then, and then she came here. And I think it depends on where you're at, because here, in the Northwest, for some reason, the colorism thing is, it's not as big as in California, because we just, so we took a trip out to California, to LA, uh, in the summer, and we went to some of our cousins' house who we never met or hung out with, right? And that's when we saw the most colorism, that we was just like, what is going on? Because everything was about light skin, team light skinned, and it's just nasty. It's nasty. And when you're saying stuff like that, you're telling the dark skinned people that they're worth less, or they're ugly. And like me particularly, I think dark skin is gorgeous. Like, really, really, I love it. I love like super dark skinned guys. To me, they look like African kings. And I was telling one of my cousins that, because I think he's like 14, and he just has the most beautiful skin. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't even, like, I'm in love. I was like, you totally look like a king. And my other cousins were just like, what? They're like, they like dark skin. And me and my sisters are just like, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Like, what is this really? So, I just, I think maybe like when you get better response from white people or white men because of your skin tone, um, even like, I think it kind of makes you feel like you accept yourself more, that you, and I'm not saying that this was me, because honestly when I dated, I did not think of I was not thinking about I've never been really self-conscious about my skin tone. um Again, like, me and my siblings were not in school during elementary school, and under. And so we didn't really have that ingrained into our minds, the whole colorism thing, and not even the whole you only date black people thing. It was just very, just kind of just do whatever you want, just don't hurt people. And I know it's kind of naive now to just to have been that way, but that's okay. I think it's good to have a innocent view of life, and now that's gone. Like, I don't have that anymore. That has been snatched from my feet and from my eyes, and now I see it all, and it's not pretty, and I don't like it. um, but it is what it is. And if people are going to be in interracial relationships post Trump, I think there's going to be a lot of issues with that in general. with all, especially with all these white supremacist terrorists just running amok and getting excited. And I'm, you know, honestly, they're probably just out um, finding their hanging ropes. They'll end up hanging from those ropes, though. But I guess that's all I really have on interracial dating right now. I know I was like everywhere tonight, so my apologies. Yeah. So thank you for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Um, and we will talk later. Thank you.